Alright, so what's u? What would you say is u in this question? Yeah? So what's inside the root? And she knows this probably isn't very clear. This is the third root. It kind of looked like 4x cubed, but it's the third root. So there's what's my u. What's du? Nazca?
6x.
6x. One thing, again, one of the reasons why I'm giving you this question, with the minus sign, you have to think of it as negative 6x. And we have the dx. Okay? Now, so again, there's u. du needs to take care of these two pieces. So what I really have is, or what I really want is 4x dx, which says I need to multiply something here to make 4x dx. What should I multiply with? Multiply with, sorry?
1 over 24.
1 over 24? 1 over 24, if I think about multiplying that with 6, that makes 6 over 24. Because you have the 1 in the numerator.
Would it be 4 over 26?
4, yeah. So this is my, easiest way to think about it. I'm going to cancel the negative 6 by dividing with it, multiplying in the denominator. So right away, I've canceled that to become 1. I made it negative 6 because of negative 6. So this makes positive 1. I need 4, so multiply 4 in the numerator. If I actually multiply that out, I get negative 24 on top, negative 6 times 4, negative 6 on bottom, and that equals 4, what I'm looking for. Now the fact is, 4, 6 does simplify as 2/3. So when I write this over here, because I'm saying I'm multiplying on both sides, again, it's like an equation. I do to one side, I do to the other. Negative 4, 6, I can simply think of it as negative 2/3. So in trying to fix these things, especially if you have to reduce and get rid of something, think of it as a fraction. First, multiply by the same number to reduce it to 1, and then your numerator is whatever number you need to make the x dx part. So now I'm back, I've got my pieces set. SETI, what am I going to write for my new integral?
Would it be negative 2/3 times square root of negative?
It'll be the cube root, because there should be a 3 of u. du, exactly. And again, if you watch some videos, they'll say that, and it is true, that a number multiplied you can write out front and not worry about it because it's a kind of constant. And I don't do that just because sometimes people write it out here and then forget that they wrote something here. So the first thing I'm going to do is think of this as u to the 1/3, because I don't know how to deal with roots, but I know how to deal with fraction indices. Again, now I'm ready to integrate. I have negative 2/3. Add 1 to 1/3. That makes 4/3. Divide by 4/3. But divided by 4/3, I'm going to flip over. I have negative 2/3 times 3. U to 4/3 over 4. And this sort of cancels. 3 and 3 cancel. 2 and 4. And I'm left with, don't forget the negative, u 4/3 over 2. And last, we substitute and last, don't forget C.